So earlier this growing season, I talked about growing the Amish paste tomato, which is my favorite tomato variety. But I really want to focus on in this video is how I go about collecting the seeds, preparing them, and storing them. And the cool thing is that it's really easy. Of course, as established in other videos, my favorite tomato variety to grow is the Amish paste. And I continually to grow the Amish paste each year, right? And each year I am able to save the seeds from this plant. So I don't have to spend money on buying new seeds. The plants that I have been growing, they have been able to adapt over generations to the landscape, and potentially even in some cases pick up beneficial microbes, right? Endophytic microbes that live inside the plants, and those microbes are able to carry through generation to generation through the seeds. And saving seeds is super easy as well, right? It can basically be as easy or as difficult as you want to make it. So that said, there are a whole bunch of different methods on saving seeds and saving tomato seeds, but this is generally the protocol that I go by for saving tomato seeds. I really don't overthink this. So basically all I do is I go out into the garden. And by the way, I only grow the Amish paste tomato, so I don't usually have to worry about cross-pollination unless if the neighbors happen to be growing a different variety nearby, right? Or anything like that. But I haven't really run into any of those issues at all. But that's one thing to keep in mind, right? You want to make sure if you want that variety to grow next year, you want to make sure that variety stays pure, right? If that's what you want. So that aside, what I do is I just select the healthiest looking tomatoes on the strongest, best looking plants, right? Because I am selecting for the best genetics possible that are suited to my local environment, right? Context, right? Well, then what I'll do is I'll take the fruit inside, I'll slice it open, and maybe make multiple slices, and I will take a knife and pick out the little seeds. That may seem kind of tedious, but I don't really need a whole lot of tomato seeds for a backyard garden, so that method works well for me. And maybe if I had to scale up and produce thousands of seeds or something like that, then maybe I might find a more efficient way of doing that. But this also allows me to pick out like the largest, the best seeds as well, so I can be a lot more thorough with my seed selection. Then what I'll do is I will put those seeds and I will not wash them, right? I won't rinse them with water. The gel that they are naturally surrounded by, I let that stay on the seed coating because in my mind it helps act as a protective layer. There may be some beneficial components, maybe some beneficial microbes tucked in there, so I just let that dry naturally on plates. You know, if it's hot and humid, you can also put them under a fan to expedite that drying process. And then what I do is once the seeds are almost dry, I will unstick them from the plates, maybe flip them over or move them around or something, and then let them dry a little bit more before I finally put those in a container. Glass, plastic, whatever. So that's really what I do. I really try to focus on getting the best fruit from the best plants, and then of those, the best looking seeds, and then I make sure I don't wash them. You know, definitely don't use any type of like soap or detergent because that'll just wipe out a lot of the beneficial microbes, right? And it may possibly set the plants back a little bit when they're planted. And then the other point of emphasis is if you let the seeds dry too long on the plates, then they can be kind of hard to take off, to get unstuck. And you can end up damaging the seeds in some cases. So definitely, you know, keep an eye on it as they are drying so that they don't get too dry before you unstick them. But then once you unstick them, you can let them dry more and they won't be really difficult to remove. The footage I have in this video is the seeds were on the plates for too long and they were a little bit difficult to remove. So thank you so much for checking out this video on collecting and storing tomato seeds. This is definitely a very easy and fun and fulfilling activity that I look forward to each year, right? Because I'm working with the plants to select for the best possible genetics that I can for my local context. And over time, it's almost as if I'm in the works of producing this tomato variety or strain that is naturally well adapted to my local area, whether it be with the genetics or the microbial symbionts or whatever the case may be, right? If you go out and you buy seeds from a company, you're buying genetics that were adapted to probably a very different climate, a very different set of growing conditions, you know. Could even be in soils that were amended with synthetic amendments, fertilizers, pesticides, where a lot of that microbial growth, the beneficial microbes, might not even be there. And so that's a big part of why I like to grow and save my own seeds, because it's not just necessarily the plants, but it also offers the opportunity for any beneficial endophytes, bacterial, fungal, whatever, to be more directly involved with the tomato plants as they grow in my garden. So thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in a future video. Take care.